Hi everybody, welcome to Vlogmas Day 1. If you're new here, my name is Kira, Island Socialist on Instagram, and my blog is islandsocialist.com. I am starting off Vlogmas in this sparkly number. I did a collaboration with the beautiful Myra from Myra Lorraine, One So Sweet on Instagram, and we both made Simplicity S8950. So I am currently wearing mine. It's a little, well, it's supposed to be a sweater, but I couldn't find any sweater fabric, so it's not a sweater, it's just a top with this cute ruching down the front, and there's a tie in the middle. I filmed the entire process of me making this top, from choosing the fabrics to making adjustments at the end, and I'm going to show you guys everything, so stay tuned. So I'm getting ready to cut the pattern that I'm collaborating with Myra on, and I thought I'd just jump on here and share some of the challenges that we go through as island sewists. This is the pattern here. It's Simplicity 8950. Gorgeous little sweater top. Perfect for the winter season or fall season. Y'all know I don't have seasons here, but I've mentioned it before that my inner style is fall and winter fashion. Anything cozy, anything furry, even the boots. Like, I love that stuff. But anyway, so these are the challenges that I'm facing right now with this pattern. As you can see, this sweater is a little bit oversized, and I only managed to pick up the size 14 to 22. And since it's already oversized, I think I'm gonna run into some problems here, because the smaller size, which is size 14, the bust ranges from 40.5 to 41.5. Now my bust, depending on the time of the month, could go from a 39 to a 40. And with knit fabrics, you know, you would usually go down a size or two to account for the stretch in the fabric. This pattern has a lot of ease. It's made to be oversized, so fair, okay, I have no problem with that. I figure if I make this sweater in the size 14, it would look fine. It's made to be oversized. However, there's no way I'm ever going to find sweater fabric, sweatshirting fabric, any sort of stable knit fabric other than scuba and PK. I'm not gonna find it here in Barbados. I live on a tropical island. We have no purpose for sweatshirts and sweaters, so I'm kind of in shambles here. I went fabric shopping. I visited 3 different stores, and the only thing I could find is jersey. But I feel like if the jersey here is even just way too lightweight for this sweater, I feel like if it would just, instead of looking like an oversized, more boxy sweater, it would probably just look like pajamas. So I'm kind of stuck. When I was home on vacation, I found this sparkly knit fabric. I have no idea what it is. It's sort of translucent. Oh yeah, actually it's pretty much sheer, but it's scratchy on the outside, but the inside is smooth. I'm pretty sure it's just some sort of polyester stuff, but it looks really holiday-esque, very Christmas appropriate. And I initially thought that I would make this version, view D, from this fabric, but the problem is the bust measurements is 40.5, and I feel like if for this style it would look a lot better fitted. I mean, I can just cut the 14 and try to take it in as I go, but I opened the pattern tissue and this stuff is massive, like massive. So I'm still stuck. So this is the other fabric that I picked up. It is a little bit thicker than some of the other jerseys I've seen in the stores, but it's still some really lightweight drippy stuff. Like, I don't know, I think it's just gonna look like pajamas. I'm really stuck. Also, I do not like this color, but this is literally the only color they had. So I just don't know what to do. I'm considering dyeing it, but then from the time this goes into the wash, it's gonna get even thinner and even drapier. I'm still stuck. So now I'm considering making this view out of this silver stuff, but then I don't know if I can visualize that. I think I may need to take another trip to the fabric store, but in the meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and open the pattern tissue and cut out the size 14 since that is the smallest size, and we'll go from there. So the last time you guys saw me, I was pretty much stuck between a rock and a hard place. I had no idea which direction I was going in, and I'm happy to say that Pinterest saved the day. Took a break from the sewing room and decided to do some research on this style of top. I've settled on view D, the one with the ruching up the front and the tie. I'm using the silver fabric, and though I was initially worried about it being oversized, I did manage to find a few photos on Pinterest of oversized ones in that exact style. Most of the ones I saw were either cropped or very slim fitting, and I do agree that those look better, but the fact that I was able to find oversized ones in that style, it's just a little bit more comforting, so at least I have somewhere to start. So I'm making this one, and the tie there, I think they are saying to use ribbon. Let's see. Yes, flat lacing or ribbon. Now, since I'm using the silver fabric, I don't think I'm gonna find anything coordinating. I am just going to basically sew a long strap like thing from the fabric and use that because I want the tie to be made from the same fabric. That is the sleeve. I think I need to shorten the sleeve because I always need to shorten the sleeves on big faux patterns. There is a neckband. That is the front piece, and this is the back piece. The good thing about this pattern, and why I don't mind starting oversized and then chopping it down, is that it has a dropped shoulder. So if you see here, the shoulder seam is really far down, so I'm thinking that if it turns out huge, I'm just gonna take it in all the way up, come around and all the way down the side. So I would put my sleeves in flat and then I'll take it in if I need to. Just to put things into perspective a bit, I've laid the sleeve down next to the shirt. So what I'm saying is that if I need to take in, I'm gonna take in all the way around and all the way down the sleeve as much as I need to. Also, the picture on the front of the pattern had me thinking that this was going to be a major flare sleeve, which if you look at the shape, it's pretty much straight down. So I'm not sure how that is gonna work, but like I said, we are totally winging this, and I'll just see what happens when I sew the top up and we'll go from there. The instructions want you to attach the front to the back right sides together at the shoulder seams and the side seams. However, because I want to be able to sew in my sleeves flat and take it in, I'm going to completely ignore the order of the instructions, and I'm basically going to do my own thing. Two front pieces, I have them right sides together. This is the neckline here, this is the arm here, come down, this is the hem. The first step that I am going to do is to sew from the hem all the way up to the small circle. I didn't mark a circle, I just used pins on both sides. You're going to then use that seam allowance, press it open, and that is where you're going to feed your cords through to create the ruching. So what they want you to do is to hem first and then stitch it together. That way when you press back the seam allowance, you'll have an open hole. But because I am not ready to sew up my side seams yet, I'm only going to hem halfway. After I've attached my sleeves and figured out the sizing, then I would continue to hem the rest of the way around. On my ironing board, and I'm just going to test a piece of fabric to see how it presses, because it appears to me that the silver is actually nylon thread, so I'm thinking it's probably going to melt with the iron, but I'm going to test it. Always test on a piece of scrap first. Actually, I think that pressed pretty well. It actually holds a crease. I have my iron set pretty low, so I'll just keep it on that low setting. Yes, I'm happy with this. So I've hemmed my front pieces. I actually did a 1/2 inch hem instead because I just prefer the way that looks. I prefer a smaller hem. I've sewn my front pieces together up to the small dot, and then I've pressed my pieces away from each other. I'm supposed to stitch 1/2 inch away from the center seam on both sides, and that is going to create the casing. However, now I'm wondering, why did they let you put notches here instead of circles? Because when the 1/2 inch is sewn, it's gonna have a little piece of the notches that is not caught within the seam. That annoys me. I'm upset. I'm really upset. I just had to seam rip, and because I had to seam rip, my notches are basically shredded. As I predicted, when I did the 1/2 inch casing, it does not catch enough of the notches because the distance between here and the end is 5/8 of an inch. Subtract 1/8 of an inch is catching about here. So basically what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to make a narrow casing to try to catch more of the notches, and then I'll have to make a narrower cord to pass through. Okay, so I've sewn my casing now, so there's a channel here and there's one on the other side as well. Because I had to do the casing narrower, I'm gonna have to make a 1/4 inch cord. So I've cut 2 strips 1.5 inches wide by 25 inches long. I'm going to fold them right sides together, and then I'm going to stitch it so that these become the cords. This is the way I'm going to stitch the straps. Usually you would stitch down here and stitch along the long side that is open, right? But I don't want to have to worry about keeping the open ends together because this fabric is a little bit slippery. I'm gonna feed it into the machine the opposite way, so with the closed end, and then I'm gonna sew my 1/4 inch seam allowance. I know for sure I'm gonna end up with a 1/4 from the folded edge of the fabric to the seam line, and here will remain open, and then I'll just trim off the excess. This is actually the open end. Now what I'm going to do is trim it, then I'm going to use a skewer and turn it right sides out. So this is what one cord looks like. There's an open end, and then this will be the end that hangs when it's tied. So I'm gonna feel this through the casing using a safety pin, and you want to make sure that the safety pin is on the end that is open, and you're going to feed it up through the casing, and then the piece that hangs at the bottom should then be the piece that is closed. So now what you want to do is pull on the string until it lines up with the top of the V-neck. You're going to pin, you're going to put a basting stitch there, and then you'll do the same thing for the other casing. I've just tested the ruching to make sure that it's working smooth, and it is absolutely perfect. I think this is going to look so pretty. I think this may actually be my Christmas Day top. Okay, so now I have my front on top of my back right sides together. I'm going to sew the shoulder seams, then I'm going to attach the sleeves. So this is where I'm at right now. The sleeve is on. I am not sure of the shape. Obviously I don't have it ruched right now. There's a lot of excess material at the back. Seems as though I needed to make some sort of sway back adjustment, because then the neck is ending up really high and there's a lot of pooling of fabric right here. Luckily the fabric does not have that much stretch. You have to like really pull on it to stretch it, so it's actually not fitting as oversized as I thought. Also, I guess I've gained a few more pounds than I had imagined, so the fit is not all that off. There's a little silver patch. I don't know what happened there, but it's not that noticeable, so that's fine. But yes, the top is creeping up the neck. I have to keep pulling down the back, but then when I pull down the back is ending up way longer than the front. So I definitely needed to make a sway back adjustment. Obviously there's nothing I can do about that right now. The only thing I can say is that I probably shouldn't have added that 1 inch to the length. This is it ruched. It's so cute. Oh my goodness. Obviously I have on a top underneath, so you can't really get the full gist, but yeah, this is what it looks like ruched. I'm definitely having the issue with pooling fabric in the back, and I really don't think there's anything I can do about that right now, which sucks. I may have to taper the hem a bit. Also, because of the drop shoulders, there's a lot of fabric right here. I don't want to take that in too much. Maybe I could, because I feel like the sleeve is going to pull. It's already pulling, which is the usual issue with drop shoulders. In the back here you could see where the neck is coming up too high. I'm kind of tempted to cut off some, but I'm also terrified. The thing is, the neckband still has to go on, so I'm not even sure how that's gonna work. But yes, this is where I'm at right now. Okay, so I've finished taking in the top. First I took in a 5/8 of an inch on both sides. I then went in and took in another 5/8 of an inch both sides, so that's a total of 1¼ inches on both sides, which gives me a total of 2½ inches. So I took in the top a total of 2½ inches. I hope my math is correct right now. I did end up chopping off some off the backs. I chopped off about 1 inch, tapering to nothing at the sides. These sleeves, I hemmed them already. I'm just gonna leave them like this, but I think this top would have looked better with flare sleeves, but it really wasn't flared. So, and then I was initially gonna take them in to just be like regular narrow long sleeves, but I think they look a little bit better looser. Like when I put my hand like this, it still has a little flare, so I kind of like that. So I'm almost finished. The last thing to do now is to put on the neckband, and I've never put on a V-neck band before, so this is a first for me. I feel like if I could still take this in around the waist just to give me a little bit more shape. Like, I have a lot holding my back when I do that, but I'm gonna just leave it because, like I said, I think I want this to be my Christmas Day top, so I have to leave room for a food baby. The top is a little bit sheer, but you actually cannot see, I don't think you can see my bra that much. so that works out. But if I'm going to be anywhere in like lights, then I would just wear a camisole under it, and I think I should be fine. This I can actually ruche up a lot more, but the pants I'm wearing is not exactly high-waisted. So yeah, but I'm gonna style this with black jeans most likely. Okay, so I'm getting ready to sew the neckband, and we're at step 6. Here's mine. So we're gonna stitch, pivot, and stitch, and then we're going to clip to this dot. So I've done my stitching and I've cut to the small dot in the center. The next step is going to be to open my seams, fold it together all the way around. Once you have your V point, you also want to snip off these corners so that it makes a perfect V shape. So I'm pinning the neckband on to the shirt now. I've turned the sweater wrong side out like it's suggested to do in the instructions. First thing I matched up are these notches on the back neckline. We have small circles to match with the shoulder seam, and of course your V will match here. Not going to lie, this part, the V, is really hard. There's a lot of fullness to ease in, and I don't trust myself to sew this correctly. This is the diagram here, and you can see right at the tip, it's an interesting way to put it together. Here are some close-ups of easing in the fullness in that area, but I mean, in reality, it doesn't look like this. It's a lot trickier. So my V is definitely not a V. Also, there is a little pucker right here. Piece of the fabric got caught. However, I tried and I cannot see the thread to seam rip. And I don't want to accidentally pull one of the actual fabric threads instead. So I'm gonna just leave it because I feel like because it's so sparkly, when it's on, you won't even notice. But this V-neck was definitely incredibly difficult around this area where you had to ease in the fullness. My neckband is finished. I ended up top stitching it because it wasn't laying flat. The only problem is now that I've top stitched, the top stitching is not a V, and it was already not a V. So it's kind of obvious now that hair looks a little bit wonky, but it's laying a lot flatter now, which is why I top stitched it in the first place. The back is fitting a lot better now than before, covered in glitter and thread. I hope you guys enjoyed following me as I went through the process of making this top, and I hope you love the end result as much as I do. If you have not yet seen Myra's make, I'm going to link all of her socials down below so that you can see her version of S8950. Thank you for joining me for Vlogmas Day 1, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Oh yes, and don't forget, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in my next one.